So what are you making here?
Get some coals.
But not as long as what I normally do.
Got out of here. Need about 700 degrees. Get some lead melted.
How do you tell if the fire's hot enough?
Put the lead in, and as soon as it starts melting, you know you're hot enough. Nothing scientific about it.
So is that just lead, or is there other stuff in there too?
No, that's just a soft lead. Just a soft lead.
Now, would the trappers have had a similar thing like you're going to pour it into?
That's exactly right. Each rifle that was sold to a mountain man, when he bought a rifle, came with a mold.
Okay.
That was matched to the caliber of the rifle that he got. So that way he didn't have to worry about getting the wrong caliber for the wrong rifle. It came with the rifle. He had his little ladle. That's just a bag ladle, so you carry that in your pocket. The stick you can find anywhere out in the woods. That's that and a little lead, and that's all you needed to carry. This is the kind of lead that he would end up getting is bars of lead, and this doesn't shoot too good out of a rifle. So when he's sitting around fixing supper or fixing eating, he's melting his lead.
Huh. How long does it take to make one of those, to make a ball?
To make a ball? Once the lead's poured, or once the lead's hot, it doesn't take long at all.
What years were rifles, or what years did they do this before we had cartridges? I mean, there was a long period of time that they were doing ball and
They were doing ground ball. Early 1900s, they were still using round ball.
And when would this have started?
1500, you know.
The beginning of gunpowder, really.
Of gunpowder. Whenever they had gunpowder, they had to have something to put down the barrel.
Right.
So it's hard to say how long it's been at, but.
So when did they get powder? Was that something that they traded for people that they'd run into, or they go resupply, or how did that?
The was resupplied in the mountains. Lewis and Clark went in the mountains. They took powder with them.
Sir? Beautiful.
But anyhow, they took it with them. So powder's been around for a lot of years. It wasn't as high quality as what we got nowadays, but it still went off.
And was that something that there would be traders that specialize in that, or?
There'd be makers back in St. Louis that make powder and send it out with the traders. To the Rendezvous. The Rendezvous started in 1823. Before that, the mountain man, all his beavers and stuff that he trapped, had to take it back to St. Louis. Well, from Montana, Wyoming, up in that area, that's a long ways to St. Louis on horseback. So the traders decided that we're going to go to the mountain man. So they would make a caravan of pack animals and haul out supplies to resupply the trader, or the mountain man out there. And in return, the mountain man would trade in the pelts for goods. There was two different types of mountain men. There was the brigade camper, or the brigade trapper, and then there was the free trapper. The brigade trapper was supplied by the traders. Got all their supplies, horses, saddles, guns, all their shooting, all their supplies, traps, was supplied by the trader. Okay? The free trapper bought his own stuff.
It's kind of like a truck driver now, whether you get your truck
You're
on your own or...
So you sell to whoever is the highest paying trader for your hides. It was your money. You didn't have to pay it back. But the brigade trappers, they had a debt when they left St. Louis. Right off the bat, they had a debt.
Yeah.
They had to pay that debt back.
Was it more common to find a free trapper or a brigade trapper?
If the free trapper left St. Louis and had the money to supply his stuff,
kind of depended on his situation.
Depended on his situation from the start.
Better for him to be a free trapper if he could afford it?
Yeah. With the exception that the brigade trappers didn't like the free trappers. Because the free trappers made more money. And the brigade trapper had to pay the trader that he got his stuff from to pay to that one.
Yeah.
Where I could go to Joe Blow over here, you're paying $4 a hide. This one over here is paying $6. Where do you think I'm going to sell my hide at?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the highest bidder.
Exactly. The brigade trapper had to go to the $4 one because that's who he got his supplies from.
Okay, so
See?
he was controlled.
He was controlled. He was an employee basically.
Yeah. Now,
And also that the supplies that they got were overinflated to the point where you were still in debt when you left.
yeah,
In fact, even worse.
kind of like being a sharecropper.
Exactly. So yeah, the free trapper was actually, that's what it was called, the free trapper. He was free to do whatever he wanted to do.
So the idea that it takes money to make money is not very new.
No.
Now, if you wanted to make lead balls like this today, when you buy a gun, can you get the same kind of deal? Do they sell?
No, you buy the molds separate. That's just a separate.
But that's a caliber mold, so it'll make
That's a
one
caliber
caliber
mold.
for one size
Right.
rifle.
This is a 54 caliber. If my mold is warm enough.
Wow, it doesn't take very long for it to harden.
Yeah, and I just dumped it on the ground. Well, see, that's the one thing about lead. Let me let her cool off here a little bit. Lead only sticks to itself. It don't stick to nothing else. So I'll let that cool. I'll dig that all back out and put it in my ladle and pour some more.
So you don't have to have it in there a long time to purify it or anything like that?
I mean, it cleans itself as it's heating up. The scum and stuff is on the top of it.
What's that ladle made of?
That's cast iron. It's hand forged.
So it's just got a melting point that's a lot higher than lead?
It does have a burnout point. In other words, I can leave that in there and it'll never burn out, where a sheet metal ladle will burn out.
And burnout means what? It'll melt?
It'll melt. If it gets too hot in there, it'll just disintegrate and warp and everything else. The hand forged ones don't.
So if you have are all the guns this is shooting going to have rifling inside them? I mean, that's why it's called a rifle, right?
That's why it's called a rifle.
Does it actually spin the ball much, though?
It's rifled just like a modern rifle. They got rifling in it. Now, there's also the guns that's what we call a smooth bore.
Right.
They're just the same as a shotgun. They have no riflings.
And they're going to just be less accurate and not be as long range?
They're less accurate, well, to a point. I mean, I shoot smooth bore. I shoot rifle, but most of the time I shoot smooth bore.
Why is that?
That's what the mountain men started out with. You know, most of them went out with smooth bore. The large caliber guns were usually smooth bores. For one reason is, on a smooth bore, if you had powder and if you had a flint, that gun would shoot, no matter what you put down that barrel. You could put a handful of sand, rocks,
really,
whatever. You didn't have to have lead. You could put dirt, rocks, sand, whatever down that barrel, and it would shoot.
So
that's
more
smooth
more
bore,
flexible in the poor man's.
It's more flexible. Besides that, you can do a thing what we call a buck and ball. You can put a ball down the barrel and then take 2 or 3 little smaller caliber balls and put it on top of it. So actually you end up shooting 5 shots, 5 balls out of one barrel.
Okay.
So they're more flexible when it comes to a smooth ball.
Okay.
A rifle is only one thing. It's one ball.
Okay.